The second type of infinitive in Hebrew, called the infinitive construct, is also not inflected for person, gender, or number. It follows the vowel pattern schwa holam, kutol. It may be helpful in distinguishing the Cal infinitive absolute and construct to remember that construct forms of nouns tended to in some way shorten. Likewise, kutol is a shorter form than the Cal infinitive absolute's katol. Note carefully that the Cal infinitive construct kutol is identical to the Cal imperative masculine singular form. Only the context in which the form is used will let you know whether you are reading an imperative or an infinitive construct. You will remember that first noon verbs often provide a challenge in that a noon can assimilate to a following consonant. In the case of the infinitive construct, first noon verbs have forms that either do or do not have the first noon. If the noon is not present, the lack of the noon is compensated for by the addition of a tav at the end of the word. So for instance, you could have the root naga, nun gimel ayin. The infinitive construct could be formed normally nagoa. The only change here is the addition of the furtive patak, which is caused by the ayin. Or you could have the loss of the first noon and have ga'at. The tav at the end is seemingly a compensation for the loss of the original noon. Similarly, natan, our verbal root glossed as to give, could form its infinitive construct normally, naton, or it could have the addition of a tav at the end to compensate for the initial lost noon. As an additional complication in the case of natan, the third root letter, which is nun, assimilates into the new tav, which has been added. So the form tate is the Cal infinitive construct of natan, but you only from the root itself see the tav in the middle. Because of the difficulty of recognizing this form, tate, as coming from natan, it should simply be memorized, as it's a quite common form in the language. The infinitive construct is commonly used after the preposition lamed to express either purpose or result. For instance, in 1 Kings 5, we have Vayavo'u mikol ha'amim lishmoa et hokmat shalomo. Vayavo'u is a Cal narrative form from the root bo, which we will cover in a later chapter. And they came, min, from all the peoples, all the nations. And then lamed plus the Cal infinitive construct, shemoa, so from the root shin, mem, ayin, to listen. The infinitive construct also will be commonly used after the prepositions beit and kaf to express a temporal clause, a clause that we would translate with when. For instance, in Deuteronomy 27:4, V'haya b'ovrachem et hayarden. Note carefully that the form here is a closed, unaccented syllable. So our form here is a kametz hatuf, b'ovrachem. And if you are able to recognize the kametz hatuf, then you will hear the characteristic o sound, the holam sound of the infinitive construct. So this is and it will be, a Cal converted perfect. The preposition when you're passing over. This is a possessive suffix, kem, on the end of the infinitive construct, which we will discuss in the next section. So, and it will be in your passing over the Jordan. In better English, and when you pass over the Jordan. Infinitives, both infinitive absolute and construct, will typically be negated by levilti, which glosses as not. For instance, Deuteronomy 17:12, Levilti shemoa et ha-kohen. So Levilti not, shemoa cal infinitive construct, note the vowel pattern, shwa cholam, to el ha-kohen, the definite article ha plus kohen, priest, by not listening to the priest.